Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Meister Tarot. Sorry I didn't make it yesterday. The hearing didn't finish till quite late, early evening yesterday, our time, by which time I was cooking dinner, and I had a case of man flu in the house. He's been tested, not COVID, so it is just tiring for the rest of the family, man flu. So hopefully he hasn't spread his germs and he's sleeping in the sun in the lounge room at the moment. So thank you for joining me. There's a lot I wanted to share with you today. I've gone through the January 6th committee hearing. I'll post a link below of what I use. I don't actually like to sit through the hearing itself. I prefer to see the written form of what went on. Nothing overly unexpected, but there was a few things that came out that I wanted to actually have a look at. Had to Josh Hawley riling up the crowd and then fleeing like a sprinter when they came after him was quite amusing, but it's not particularly news. It was just like comic relief. But what the committee are doing now is they have originally, in the first couple of hearings, they told people what they were going to tell them. They then told them what they had promised, and now they are basically tying all the links together and summing up and providing witnesses and proofs to back up what they have told them. So it's a little bit of a summary at this stage, but rest assured it is not the last hearing. There will be more. I think every reader has read that there will be more as more evidence comes to light, and some of that evidence I want to touch on today. So yesterday was basically focusing on the inaction of the president. There was takeouts from the video that Trump was trying to make the following day, where he was just being insincere, churlish, laughing at his supporters, laughing at events, refusing to acknowledge what actually happened, difficulty pronouncing words such as vote and yesterday, and it was just, yes. Anyhow, I'll leave it at that. Hutchinson, nice to see Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony regarding Trump's behaviour in the on the day has been backed up by two other witnesses. However, his churlish behaviour is it is a bit of a sidetrack. It is a bit irrelevant to actually what's going what is required for prosecution, etc. Apparently, Trump called Republican senators on the day of the 6th in the afternoon when the riot was taking place. One of such was Tommy Tuberville, who had to terminate the call to flee the Senate. So be interesting. I'll have a look to see whether that comes to light. What I really want to have a look at today, 4 items. We'll see how we go for time because I've got a list of other subjects that I want to touch on as well. The Secret Service agents that were in charge of Pence. There has been footage emerge. I can't remember whether it was audio or video, and witness statements in regards to this, testimony in regards to this, that Pence's Secret Service agents in the building were actually terrified for their own lives. They were determined to protect Pence, but they had made calls to their loved ones to say goodbye because they didn't know that they were going to make it out alive. That's how horrific it was. The Secret Service agents in the car have engaged lawyers and have now said that they will speak to the January 16th committee, so I'll have a look at that. I have read on it before. Excuse me, I've got an itchy nose. I think it's dog hair rather than man flu. And to be honest, if it is man flu, we'll call it woman flu, and I'll take a couple of anti-flu tablets and sail on through, which we tend to do. Anyhow, so I want to have another look at the Secret Service agents in the car because they've lawyered up, strange in itself, and have agreed to speak to the January 6th committee. I want to have a look at premeditation and intent is basically what the January 6th committee is trying to prove here. I want to have a look at that, premeditation and intent. I want to have a look at the safety of Sarah Matthews as well. What I found really interesting, disappointing, was that the Republican caucus official Twitter account had posted claims to discredit Sarah Matthews. They did that to Cassidy Hutchinson. Those claims were then removed. All very telling that there are some still on the inside that just think it's all a joke still. Anyhow, apparently there was tweets between Tim Murtagh, who was Trump's campaign manager, I believe, at the time, and an assistant, showing that Trump was refusing to acknowledge the police deaths because Trump felt that by acknowledging the deaths, he was somehow taking the blame, which is typical Trump modus operandi. He always has a fall guy, which is one way I don't think that he will go to prison, because he's had his entire life, 70 odd years of perfecting his slipperiness, in that he will ask people to do things for him. He won't put it in writing. He has someone else to blame for everything when it goes wrong. I honestly don't think he'll go to jail. I haven't seen it. I haven't read it, that he will go into jail in regards to this. I don't even know if they will prosecute him, basically because he is this slippery dick type of figure who always has somebody else to take the blame, and is always very astute not to do anything that would you know what I mean. I'm having Alzheimer's disease today, dementia. No, I shouldn't joke about that, but yeah, the brain sometimes won't come out with the words. He's very good at not saying or doing anything that will actually implement himself. On that note, also, when I'm talking about tweets, there were information came out about how the aides and assistants in the White House were drained and exhausted by the end of the day of watching what had unfolded. Several witnesses had, in their testimony, had said that. And I totally felt for the police officer who tweeted in reply something along the lines of, how dare you claim feeling drained when we were the ones there that were actually at the coalface, at the battlefront, drained, trying to actually risking our lives in regards to this. And I can totally feel that policeman's energy and those around him. So what I'm going to have a look at first, the Secret Service agents that were in the car. I mean, it is somewhat irrelevant that he behaved so childishly and pathetically, but we do know that that is Trump to a T, and that will very possibly bring him to a reaction if that information comes out. So I'm just going to start at the top and go down with the 4 things I want to have a look at. 3 things I want to have a look at. And then if we get time, I'll move on to a couple of other bits and pieces. Okay, tell me about these 2 Secret Service agents. I have read on it before. I have read that one was a Trump supporter, possibly in the pay of Trump. Don't quite know how it went. but he felt obliged, and he didn't want to talk, and the other one didn't want to talk because he had been threatened, was how I had read it in a previous reading. But I just want to see what will happen if, will these two Secret Service agents talk to the January 6th committee? Will they have testimony that will be used by the January 6th committee? The two Secret Service agents in the car with Trump, will they back up Cassidy? No, will they talk to the January 6th committee? Will they talk to the January 6th committee? Yes, no, yes, no. Yep, he's saying stop shuffling. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is about... sorry, I just move you back again. I'm on my wobbly card table. Reaping what you sow, disappointment in the outcome of it, and this is what I'm feeling, is that it is normally a no card, being a odd number, but I think what's happened is that the Secret Service agents are disappointed in how it's all going down, and they are very quickly ending up in the minority, and they know that they will reap what they sow. Okay, 10 of Cups, 4 of Wands, and 2 of Wands. These are all yes cards. So I'm going to read that as its actual message, rather than the... Not getting any swords here, but I'm getting the messages. But I'm not going to read that as a no being a 7. But we've got the 3 positives, 3 even numbers, so it's telling me yes. But for the sake of the voter and the security of the country, they are going to choose the right path, which is telling me, and we've got plan coming to fruition. They're going to have to defend their actions, the actions that they took initially. Interesting that the texts are missing, but yes, we have this really... these are the female lawmakers, but it's also a very powerful feminine energy in regards to messaging, and I'm looking at all these messaging cards coming forward in regards to the Emperor. So they are going to talk, is what I'm getting. I will ask whether they will back Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony. Will they back up Cassidy So because for her to know... Sorry, I've cut the top of my head off there. Finally got rid of my Boris haircut. So she would have had to have talked to somebody in the car, or somebody who had spoken to somebody in the car, because it was heresy, to be honest. So somebody in the car has disclosed this information, that is the action that Trump took. So will the Secret Service agents that were in the car back up Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony? Will they publicly back up Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony? Let's have a look. Okay. Lies, deceit, betrayal, abuse of power. Something hidden to be revealed, heartbreak and loss, and choosing the right path, making the correct plan. On the base we have moral corruption, trapped in the gilded cage, and something unexpected to come forward. I think it's not clear as of yet, but what I'm getting is that okay, thank you, Master. This threats to one of the Secret Service agents is going to come out. This is about breaking in and stealing away with the truth. Lying, deceit. It's also, many readers call it their the big lie card, which is the claim that the election fraud, etc. But I think what's happened is this is about the lies within the abuse of power within the Secret Service agency. There is something there. There is a hidden agenda that we may not find out about. So the January, and actually this came up in my previous reading about the texts and also the Secret Service agents in the car, that there are things that are going to be revealed, a hidden agenda or secrets that are going to be revealed that we may never find out about. I've got heartbreak and disappointment and loss and despair in regards to the truth, but they do, at least one of them takes this righteous path. So I think for the sake, it's in the regards to the moral corruption, the gilded cage that has surrounded Trump, and there will be something unexpected come forward. So I do think that one of them is going to, probably not both, because I did ask the question about both of them. I think one of them is actually going to come forward, and he is going to bring forward he or she, I don't know whether they were she's in the car or he's, I'm assuming they were he's. The Secret Service agents in the car, I've got one that I'm pretty sure one is going to come forward. There is going to be information come out, not publicly, about abuse within the Secret Service that is not going to be released to the public, is what I'm getting. But yeah, one is going to come out with a message, and it is going to, now whether that then next spread the abuse of power or the moral corruption, the gilded cage, and the what was the last card I had there? I'm just trying to think. I'm sure you can remember for me. And the bombshell, yeah, the page, the unexpected news to come forward, may be information that comes to the January 6th Commission, but not necessarily be made public. So just be aware of that. We'll keep an eye on that one. Okay. So that was my Gilded Tarot Royale. I'll use my Runic Tarot deck for this one. Will Sarah Matthews be safe? There was, tweeted claims on the Republican caucus page that what she was saying was heresy. It's like it's been backed up by recordings and a dozen other witnesses. I was actually going through the summary. I was astounded at how many witnesses were called forward, so that may explain why it went on for so long. But please do read it. It was really interesting. So it's only heresy if it's repeated by. So if Sarah had told somebody and then they repeated it, it's heresy. It's not heresy if she repeats it, and it's not heresy if others have witnessed it. So this is one of these attacking tweets that then got deleted, but it just shows the mentality of those still on the inside. It was apparently the Twitter account is controlled by a Republican New York representative. I did see who it was, but I didn't write it down. A female of all people, but goodness. Okay. Please vote these people out. Please, for the sake of the rest of the world. Okay, tell me about this. Will Sarah Matthews, the Sarah Matthews, the Assistant Press Secretary to Trump, who resigned on the day. She was so disgusted at what she saw. will she be safe? These young women, these young Republican women coming forward, having the bravery and the courage and the guts to do what's right, gives hope for the future. Now, I was going to say hope for the future for the Republican Party. Strength just leapt out. I love this card. Strength with the polar bear. These women have strengths. And I will say it, for the future of the Republican Party, and what it is that a good governing party needs a good opposition to hold them to account. Not this corrupt, swampy BS that's currently there, but if the Republican Party can have the likes of Sarah Matthews and Liz Cheney and Cassidy Hutchinson, etc. in it, they will be either a good party if they ever come to power, and they will be a good opposition. So I do hope for the sake of the party that these are the women that lead the way, and lead the way they will. My Boudica card, the Chariot card, the warrior princess, not even princess, the warrior queen, the warrior riding into battle. And then we have the Worlds, which is the complete ending of a cycle, but also unity of diversity. So tell me, will Sarah Matthews be safe? Will Sarah Matthews be safe? Because I know everybody else is getting death threats. Will Sarah Matthews be safe after her testimony? Okay, Sarah Matthews be safe after her testimony. I'll bring you down. The card that leapt out at me was the Two of Swords. Truth is really at a crossroads at the moment, and America has a really difficult decision of what path it wants to take. It needs to stand up and be counted. I'm drawn to the wolf, in the wolf skin over the woman in this. Reminded me of a sheep and a sheep in wolf's clothing, a woman in wolf's clothing. America really is at this crossroads, a really important, deep decision to make. Just having a look at what's on the... If you have a look, you might be able to, if your quality is good enough, and my camera quality is lousy, so I do apologise. But on the two trees behind her, there are deceased persons hanging, corpses hanging from the trees in various states of decay. So that is, your democracy has undergone a state of decay, and you are at a vital crossroads. The Page of Pentacles. So this is about the young people, and it's a young woman, and it's about dreaming big and working hard and moving forward. They are the young people. It is only a page, so it's not huge energies at this stage, but this is about working hard, having big dreams, and big dreams for what is right. The Emperor. Okay. And then the Three of Wands, which is about a plan coming to fruition, about the ship coming in. So the Emperor is, until he is completely gone, and you only have to look at this figure. It is apparently Thor, but he's quite an aggressive looking figure, but also indulgent and egotistical and narcissistic and all the rest of it, who Thor very possibly is in mythology. I must read up on my mythology. he is my trump card until such time as Trump goes, and he is then below this crossroads card. So the US is really at a crossroads as to which path it follows. And it is going to come down to the young people. The question was, is Sarah Matthews going to be safe? I haven't got a definitive yes or no on that, because it is at this crossroads stage. And then we've got plans coming to fruition, bringing your ship into harbour. But this is not necessarily Trump's plans coming to fruition. Working together, relationships and partnerships. And we have the Page of Cups. And then we also have the Six of Cups, which is about going back to a simpler time. So I think what's happening is these pages are going to work together to take us back to this. Now, simpler time doesn't mean ditch diggers and it means going back to the simpler time where it was about loving those close to you, sharing friendship, being about community, being about the simple things in life being important, not trying to start a civil war. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands, which is this new message coming forward. And again, we have the World at the base, which is this ending of an era, and unity of diversity, of coming together, a culmination. So it's not telling me whether she's going to be safe or not. I will just ask again. But that's more telling me about how what is happening here is a real make or break, sliding door for the US. It's a real sliding door moment where it will determine the entire future of the path that the United States takes, and hence the rest of the world, which is why we're also concerned about it. Tell me, will Sarah Matthews, previous Assistant Secretary, yes, no, just one card, yes, no, will she be safe? Will she be safe? I don't know if she's received death threats. There hasn't been any reporting of it. Will she be safe? Yeah, she will be. Justice. Actions and consequences, but yes, it is a yes card. She will be safe. Yes, again, she will be safe as the truth comes forward. Yep. And then we've got this moral corruption out in the cold as these young people bring these messages forward. So it'll be exposing, the justice and truth will be exposing this moral corruption. And it'll come via the youth. And then we have base of the pack as judgment, inevitable endings, but also being judged, of a call to arms, a collective awakening, and then this Page of Pentacles again. So, and then the Ten of Cups, Valhalla. Yeah, she's going to be okay. The next card was actually the Two of Swords again. So it is very much crossroads time for the US. So yeah, she's going to be safe. But boy, this information that's coming out. Okay, I'm going to have a look. This will be the last thing because I'm up to 28 minutes already, because you know how I like to waffle. The intention of this January 6th committee is to prove premeditation and intent. Now, I gather from what I've heard along the grapevine that the DOJ only has another 6 months. So they had 2 years before they cannot bring any charges. It must be a 2-year, I know the word, you know the word, a 2-year window. There is a legal term for it that I know, but I can't think of it, where they have to bring the charges in. Now, don't be fooled. Merrick Garland is working his ass off behind the scenes. His team are working the ass off behind the scenes. There is a lot of conflicting messaging coming forward, which is making their job difficult. They have to follow every piece of information, every path. They have to, if you think of it like a 10,000 piece jigsaw puzzle of an abstract painting that has minute detail in it, this is what they're trying to put through. Not a 1,000 piece puzzle, but a 10,000 piece puzzle. I was going to say a puzzle that was just completely one colour, but it's not. There is information coming forward. There is a picture being revealed, but it's not been an easy task. So, and don't be worried about that memo that Garland put out. It doesn't mean they're not being investigated. It doesn't mean that charges won't be brought. It just is, well, it's putting Barr right in the firing line, but it's also exposing Barr, but it's also reinforcing the fact that he wants to be across all the investigations. Okay, so will Trump ever be charged of premeditation and intent? I mean, Bannon's, speaking of Bannon, he's been charged. Oh, I love it. He's been charged. We'll read on Bannon on Monday, but he's been charged. His lawyers are saying, oh, we're going to relodge, appeal, that's the word. So I haven't totally got going gaga, that they will appeal, I just find it hilarious. I mean, it was a very quick court case because it was open and shut. Here are the facts. He did wrong. He's guilty. But they are going to appeal because they're claiming that the subpoena dates are negotiable. They're not set in stone. It's like, oh, please. Is their argument. Now, they argued that in the case originally, which got, found guilty. It's like, excuse me, no, they're not. They are the dates. They're not negotiable for whenever you feel like it. So anyhow, so he's been found guilty. I'll have a read on that on Monday as to whether he's going to jail or not, or well, how the appeal's going to go and whether he's going to go to jail. But I also want to have a read on Monday. Will he face future legal action regarding, there is an audio that has come out that is Bannon prior to the January 6th talking about what had been arranged, what they had planned to do. Ooh. And it's going to be his complete and utter downfall. But again, it's not pinning it on Trump, it's pinning it on Bannon, the fall guy. I'm waiting for Trump to tweet out that he never knew him, never met him, never knew him, didn't like him anyhow, sort of thing. Full illumination is going to come out in regards to that audio. Oh, and then again on the bottom, this is going to be Bannon's downfall. Okay, but I'll read on that on Monday. What was I looking at today? Oh, will Trump be found guilty of premeditation and intent? So this audio of Bannon's shows yes, but can it be pinned? Because I don't think Trump was actually in the audio. I haven't listened to it, let me know. I don't think Trump was actually in the audio, so he could always deny that he had any knowledge of it, where it's obvious that he did, but it wouldn't stand up in a court of law, that being the case. Obvious assumption is not legally binding, sadly. Okay, tell me, will Trump ever be charged, I'm not saying prosecuted, just charged, of premeditation and intent? Tell me, please, will Trump ever be charged with premeditation and intent? So well, it's a yes card. Unfortunately, it doesn't mean actual death necessarily. Can mean death, can mean ill health, but it is more about endings and ending of something and a rebirth of something new, bringing about authentic reform. So he may be it's a yes, and he may be charged purely to bring out this authentic reform. The Knight of Wands, bringing forward he is a rash knight. He's a fast-moving knight, bringing forward quite a chaotic message about what went on in the past. Okay, this is the past is strength, but it is the past. So this may be okay. Thank you, Meister. He's telling me it's Trumpism, the strength of Trumpism, but it is in the past. And I will read on this at some stage. I think I've read on it before that Trumpism and Trump is no longer relevant to Trumpism itself. It's taken on a life of its own. At the top, heartbreak and loss, despair. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a yes. There is a hidden agenda of secrets that are going to be brought forward. Externally, you've got the Queen of Coins. She's about domestic security and protection, homeland security. Thank you. CIA. Because FBI is overseas, I think, isn't it? CIA is internally. Thank you, Master. Internally, Eight of Wands. This is going to be Eight of Swords. I just looked at it to see whether it was the 10 or the 8. So will Trump be charged with premeditation and intent? I think yes. This is telling me yes, that the truth is going to confine him. This is internally. So he's going to find himself bound up by the truth. Hopes and fears, loss and disappointment. Not loss and disappointment, I'll try that again. An offer being made, an offer being rejected, or disappointment with the offer being made. This is the hopes and fears. I think what's going to happen is that he's going to be charged, but I don't know that he'll actually be prosecuted. It will be his complete and utter downfall in regards to the deception, betrayal and lies, abuse of power. There is a plan. There is a plan in motion in regards to this. This is celebrating, but might be preemptive celebrating, as it is actually going to be quite difficult proving. Oh, slippery. Tricky twit. Okay. As they're going to have to try and decide what ship to bring into harbour. I have always seen that it's going to be the New York fraud case that brings him down. I think they're going to try. I don't know that they're going to. Okay, thank you, Master. He's telling me what this is bringing the information together, bringing all the messaging together into one place, but it's not going to be easy to actually bring it to fruition. The Fool card, they're going to be able to prove his foolishness. The lawmakers are going to be able to prove his foolishness, which will lead to his total destruction. And he is very anxious about this. And then we have my Biden card, playing his cards close to the chest in regards to the truth and the investigators. Okay, to put it a way that Meister is explaining it to me, is that yes, they will bring about a charge, but to actually bring it to prosecution is a completely different matter. It is going to lead to the downfall of Trump. It is going to lead to his, okay, thank you, Meister, his humiliation. Yay! But I don't know that it's actually going to lead to a prosecution and things sticking. So hang on to that image that I have of him sitting in the corner of a nursing home, drool coming out of his mouth, picking at the vinyl chair arm, babbling away to himself about how unfair life has been to him. Oh, please, if I could get $100 million left to me, I would be very happy about that. And I'm sure I could make a real success out of it as well. And with no friends, no family, no money, just hold that image in your mind and we shall live with that. Okay, thank you for joining me today. Any questions, pop them below. Take care. Love you all. Observe, take it in, but don't live in these energies that is coming out from this. Don't live in the energies of negativity that is swirling around amongst some in the US at the moment. Be positive, do what you can. Nothing more is expected of you, and love to you all. Take care. Bye-bye.